The Tokyo Disney Resort is home to 2 parks, a plethora of resorts, and some of the best attractions in the world. With that sheer size and quality in rides, it is no surprise that it is one of the highest attended theme park resorts in the world. With the recent opening of Fantasy Springs, the parks have been busier than ever before. In this video, we'll be showing you how to navigate the park website and app, showing you what passes you need and which ones you don't, and how to get through the day in the best way possible. We highly recommend staying on Tokyo Disney property, as they have a multitude of different style resorts ranging from value all the way up to deluxe. Every Tokyo Disney Resort hotel will give you happy entry into Tokyo Disneyland. Happy entry is 15 minutes of early entry, and it is a game changer for these parks. You'll find lines starting to form as early as 6 o'clock, maybe earlier on busier days at the Tokyo Disney parks. So having that early entry, not having to get there 3 hours or more before rope drop, is significant. However, keep in mind that not all Disney resorts here provide happy entry into Tokyo DisneySea. The only 2 properties currently that offer happy entry into Tokyo DisneySea are going to be the new Fantasy Springs Hotel and Hotel Miracosta. The price ranges for these hotel properties are a lot better than the ones over at Walt Disney World or Disneyland in California. With that said, they are still significantly more expensive than the hotels in the area, so you might want to stay off property if you're trying to save money. If you are, I plan to get there early, 2 to 3 hours before rope drop. This will give you the best chance to get front of the line passes, DPAs, all sorts of different passes that we're about to go over. The Tokyo Disney Resort has a multitude of passes, some of which are very confusing. But when it comes to the attractions, there are 3 main ones you need to know. The first and scariest one is going to be your Standby Pass. Standby Pass is virtual queue. If you're familiar with that over in the US parks with virtual queue, you tap the screen at 7 o'clock and it gives you a boarding group. This works very differently. It is a first come, first serve once you're scanned into the park. That's why happy entry is such a game changer. The moment your ticket is scanned, you are eligible to book any of these passes. Luckily, no attraction in the Tokyo Disney Resort is utilizing Standby Pass right now. However, with Space Mountain opening next year, I highly suspect that will probably be on Standby Pass when that opens. The next pass is the 40th Anniversary Priority Pass. This works basically as an old style Fast Pass. It just doesn't have the paper tickets. However, though, these go very, very quickly. So another reason to be there early, get in early. You have your first booking of any of these. These are free. There's not too many in the park right now. Most of them are on the paid DPA system. However, it is good to snag one of those up. Just guarantee yourself that you're going to skip a line. And then the final pass is DPA. All of the foreign Disney parks right now are using DPAs. They are paid for fast passes, essentially. They'll be in the range of about $10 to $15 per attraction. They're a little bit more expensive for the shows. However, if you're going just for the attractions, they're not too bad. Now that standby passes are away, they're not being used right now, DPAs tend to not book out immediately. I will be looking at Tokyo Disney wait times at the end of the night, and many of them will still have DPAs available, so I'm not super worried about that one. If you want an early time for one, yeah, you got to be kind of quick with it. However, if you're willing to pay the money, typically they're available most of the day. The only ones that typically sell out are going to be Beauty and the Beast, Soarin', Frozen. The other ones that use DPAs typically do not sell out that quickly. If you're more of a show person, then there is an extra pass, and I do not like this pass whatsoever. It is called Entry Request. Think virtual queue, but it is fully random. It's a lottery system. Every time we tried to book something, we were denied, and you get one chance for all times in the day. Just one chance for the whole day. And every time we did it, it told us, nope, better luck tomorrow if you're even coming back tomorrow. So, not a fan of this one. And luckily, I mean, if you really want to do the show, it does have DPA access, but like I said, for shows, DPA access can be more expensive. Some of them are upwards of like $25 US. I'm not a huge fan of this system. It's not great. Moving away less from the attractions and the shows, we're going to go over into the food and shopping area. So Standby Pass makes a return for these as well. Luckily, they're very few and far between. However, if there's a certain store you really want to go to, there's a good chance it has Standby Pass. So double check the app the day you're there, see if it has that Standby Pass icon, and that will let you know if you need to get a Standby Pass. Also on the food side, we have mobile ordering. They're your standard mobile order throughout Disney parks across the world. However, we like this system just a little bit more because it'll actually show you where you pick up the food, like which counter it is. It'll have a diagram of it. Many Disney parks will just say, hey, go to counter 6. And then you don't know how to get to counter 6. This one actually will show you how to get there, so it's very, very, very user-friendly. Just keep in mind that everything mobile ordered is going to be paid through yen. So if your preference is US dollars, Canadian dollars, some other different currency, you're going to have to pay in yen. Many credit cards will have that foreign transaction fee if it's in a different currency. Some credit cards don't. I actually have one that doesn't, so I make sure to use that card when I'm at Tokyo Disney. When it comes to sit-down restaurants, there's 2 types of services. There's going to be book restaurant and book show restaurant. Big difference between the two is one has a show and one doesn't. That's kind of actually really it. Some of them will have a show like a Duffy show, a Mickey Polynesian show, and then your normal sit-down restaurants will just be under book restaurant. All right, now that we have an idea of what all the passes do, now let's get into how to book them. When it comes to your stay and your park tickets, remember this, 2, 4, 6. So your park tickets, they become available 2 months before your visit. Hotel stays, they become available 4 months before your stay. And vacation packages, 6 months. Both the vacation packages and the standard hotel rooms will book up almost immediately for many of the resorts. So highly recommend getting there 4 to 6 months, right there on the dot ahead of time. They go live at 11 a.m. Japan time. So remember that. It's going to be a little bit different over in the US. So for example, we're in Florida. So it goes live for us at 10 p.m. our time. So we have to just prepare for that. And it's also a day earlier. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It will be 4 months and 1 day early. Congratulations, you booked your stay at Tokyo Disney. So now you're at the park. You've just scanned in. What's the first thing you're going to do? That is book Priority Pass. Not the paid one, the free one. Go to the free one now. Book it right now. Choose a time, the earliest time, earlier the better. It'll let you know when you can book the next one. And if they're still available, book the next one. DPA's second priority. If standby passes are in use, are you here in 27? Are you going for Space Mountain? Just disregard what I said earlier. Standby pass. Stand by it. Book now. Book now for Space Mountain. Then Priority Pass, then DPA. That's your order. Last time I went, we went during Fantasy Springs opening, so everything was on Standby Pass, or you had to get a DPA in order to experience those attractions. So what we did is we split up the load. Our accounts were connected, so she went ahead and booked all the free passes. So she did Standby Passes, Priority Passes, and I did the DPAs. The DPAs do take a little bit longer because you got to get through all the credit card information, all that stuff. So I booked that one, well, she booked the other 2, and boom, we got 3 rides ready to go. We've seen a lot of people complain that those passes run out very quickly. However, be advised, you can just stay on that page and keep refreshing, and the moment somebody cancels one, you can just pick it up. It's really not that hard to do, as long as you're like quick with it. What we do is anytime we're like in a line or just like have some downtime, I'll just like kind of scroll and be like, hey, what's happening here? Oh, cool, 20,000 leagues. Now we're skipping the line for that. It was a 50-minute wait, and cool, now we're not. Now we're not waiting 50 minutes for it. As you can see, the Tokyo Disney parks are very difficult to get around sometimes, specifically Tokyo DisneySea. Tokyo Disneyland's much easier. However, Tokyo DisneySea is where a lot of the headache comes in. It is still very, very doable. You just have to do your research, have a plan, and honestly, we had a great time every time we've been. We don't have the issues that a lot of tourists do, where they just are like, we can't do everything, we don't understand the app. Everything was very chill. We were getting so many rides done, and the longest we waited outside of Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. Yes, that is the longest we waited for in the whole resort on the 5 days we were there last time. We only did that, though, just to kind of prove that we could get on everything at in Fantasy Springs in one day, so we kind of did it to ourselves. We wouldn't have normally waited 52 minutes for Tinkerbell's Busy Buggies. However, everything else, not including that ride, we waited less than 30 minutes for every single ride there that was not Tinkerbell Busy Buggies. A good thing to note is there's a lot of secondary rides that are really, really good at Tokyo DisneySea. This is going to be Aquatopia, 20,000 Leagues, and Sinbad's Storybook Voyage. Plus, there's a whole indoor area for Little Mermaid, which is just a great place to walk around and explore. There's a lot of explore attractions as well. There's a big fort right in front of the volcano, so that's another great place to just check out. So there's a lot of things to do that don't have waits there that not enough people talk about. Sinbad is one of the greatest rides ever created. It is my personal favorite ride ever, and I have never waited more than 5 minutes for it. The longest I've seen it posted with a full queue was 25 minutes. It still took 5 minutes. So the park is never as busy as you think it is because there's so much other things to do within the park that are not those 300-minute waits. There's so many 5 to 10 minute or attractions that don't even have waits, like the fort or Little Mermaid. So keep in mind that there's a lot of things to do while you're waiting for your passes to become active. Also note, Aquatopia's closing. We're really, really sad about this. However, we're excited for whatever replaces it. It looks cool, the one piece of concept art with no context that they posted. However, keep in mind that that one closes September 14th. So after that, it does lose one of those easy to get on rides. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit of a downer. That's a cool ride, but keep that in mind. It might change how the wait times distribute around the park. Thank you all for watching. I hope I was able to provide some information that otherwise would be kind of hard to get. Tokyo Disney, it's a little bit complicated, but once you're there, everything kind of flows well. It works. Once you understand the system, it's actually a very, very good system. So I hope I was able to provide that information to you that you need to have a really great time at the park. And we'll be there again later this year. We're actually going to go for Aquatopia closing day. So we'll be there for that. We're also going to do Hong Kong Disney. We're going to do a lot of the local parks. There's a lot of great local parks in Japan. So if you're just going for Disney, you're missing out on a lot. There's a lot of great theme parks. And I'm not talking amusement parks. I'm talking great theme parks. You got Yamuriland, you got Fuji-Q Highland, you got Sega Joyopolis. You got a lot of great places out there. So we're going to head out to a lot of those places as well next time we're in Tokyo.